Hey, so I'm just going to give a review of the final changes for the recall button for inbox. So if I go to a patient, there's two parts of this change. One is to display the ticklers within the lab result. So let's go demonstrate that now. So if we go see this lab result, there is no ticklers in here, so you don't see anything because there's been no, or I have no ticklers that I have linked to this lab by either clicking on tickler or the new feature request, the recall button that will display here momentarily. But without setting any preferences, the second part of this change, which is to view the ticklers, this doesn't need a preference or a property set. It will display automatically. What it does, it'll just link all ticklers, active and completed, within the lab here, and these will be all the ones that I have linked to this lab result. So now the other parts. And to note that doesn't, the tickler section does not show up in any print, whether PDF or HTML print. Now to show the other part, if I go to preferences, I go down to the bottom here to lab recall settings. This will give me the opportunity to assign a delegate. So if I want to set, let's say Sidney Crosby, a message. Here. And I'm going to click on this. Now what this does is that because what's going to happen is that when I click on the recall button from within the lab, it will open up the messenger window and then open up the tickler window, and on the messenger window it'll default to sending the message to the delegate. As well as it'll default a message in the subject of the message. Now this will just make sure when the tickler opens up that the task assigned to will default to the same thing that I set up here, as well as the priority I'm setting it to high. So, and that way it'll display high within the tickler. So let's demonstrate that. So I've saved that. Now I'm going to go back to those same labs. So we'll use this one. So now we have a recall button. Actually, I will demonstrate in this one, since there's no tickler for this one. So now what will happen, I got a new message that opens up. So I'm just going to say, and then I'm going to send the message, and that will go off to Sidney Crosby. I'll close that. Now I want to assign a tickler. I'll assign it, so this is to show it defaulted to the delegate as well. If I just want this to be me, I just wouldn't check off that box in the preference. But I'm going to assign it to myself just to demonstrate the tickler being sent. Hi, and then so now I have a tickler associate or linked to this lab, and I can view it. Lets me know it's high, the status is active, but also to show the count, and my tickler displays here, and it's linked as well to the lab. So that is the change in total. Now the lab recall setting, you can also delete it. So when you go in here, you can just choose to delete this, and now that'll remove from the database. And if I go back to the lab, the recall button will be removed. I also want to point out, which I guess I'll go back, is that lab recall button, that delegate preference needs to be set for this, for the lab recall button to display. So without displaying that, without setting that preference, it won't display here. So it requires each user, if they want to use this feature, to set that, and that forces them to set the delegates. So, okay.